All right, what's up? Everybody? Christopher Leon Johnson here. Happy Wednesday afternoon, evening, and it's fall. I think it's the first day of fall. When you're so busy, you don't even concentrate on the seasons. But it's the first day of fall, and I want to make a quick video about a deer situation, and I want to give my candid comments about this, and I want to make clear that things came up. Supposed to attend this rally with the Taxi Workers Alliance to show my support, because people might think that I don't care about the Taxi Workers Alliance and all these nonprofits, but the truth of the matter of fact is that I care. But I want to make clear that as much as I care, but caring means that I will love you. But if I have to criticize you, then I have to criticize you. I cannot be silent. But I'm going to be committed doing other things for the next few days, so I'll be able to really attend the City Hall and go to stated meetings like that, and see what's happening around the area, around City Hall, because when you have stated, there's a lot of press conferences and rallies and advocacy that's going on, and you got to remember this is the last 3 months of the state of the session, and if any of the bills that's introduced in this session is not passed in the city council by the end of the year, then you have to reintroduce those bills all over again. But I want to make a quick statement about this unfair deactivation situation, right? And this mainly with the apps itself, with both Uber and Lyft, because this deal with the what do they call this thing again? The taxi workers, like, or for hire vehicle driver, because now a lot of these guys and gals that are members of Taxi Workers Alliance, they do for hire vehicle. That means Uber and Lyft. And majority of those guys are immigrants, like Muslims and Indians and Africans, and some of them are European, but the majority of them, like I said, they are immigrants, right? Let's keep that clear here, and let's be transparent with that. But I want to make clear that, look, I agree with a minimum wage for hire vehicle drivers. I want to explain why. And I know there's people like, well, why the hell there's more backlash with deliveristas versus the for hire vehicle driver? Because look, I'm in South Owensville Park right now. I'm going to walk, get something to eat. I'm in a trans desert. South Owensville Park is a trans desert, right? So there's a lot of cars. But speaking of cars, and I think if anybody drives or anybody ever drove, especially in the past about 5 years, that means starting in 2020 to 2025, you know that to operate a vehicle and to maintain a vehicle, you going to be spending thousands of dollars to maintain a vehicle as a casual, regular civilian driver, right? To operate like a car, you gotta spend money on gas. You gotta spend money on insurance. You gotta spend money on tolls. You gotta spend money on inspections. You gotta spend money on registration. You gotta spend money on renewing your license. You gotta spend money on, God forbid, how the city's so fucking greedy, especially with this. Let me put this fucking light on. Especially with this. Let me put this. All right. Especially with this finance chair in the city council, in the city itself, the fees, tickets, fines, summonses cost thousands of dollars. You could pay $100. If you don't pay the fees, you're paying thousands of dollars in penalties. And if you do tolls and you don't pay them, you're paying $100, $2,000 of penalties. So it's a lot of money to operate and maintain a car in the city of New York itself, right? Anywhere in the city of New York, especially in Manhattan, and especially when you're in a high crime district, where if you're in a high crime district, you're paying rates that are higher than everybody else. Now, when you're a for-hire driver, when you're a for-hire driver, when it comes to the for-hire driver, like let's say you want to do Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash, and I mean Uber and Lyft, main Uber and Lyft in a nutshell, right? The city of New York required, because of all the shit that was happening with the shady people that just say, I want to do the app, and some of them get busted being fucking sex offenders or pedophiles or rapists and all these weirdo types. What happens in the city is that because of the TWA, and they complain about this stuff, they put the mayor that time, de Blasio, in a tight spot to where they mandated anybody that wanted to do Uber and Lyft have to register with a TLC. Now, to get a TLC license cost, I think it's like $500 to get a license. I think it's $500 plus other so you got fingerprinting and background checking and testing, and it costs up to thousands of dollars to even start with a TLC license, right? Thousands of dollars. To renew a license could run $500, right? Or more. You have to pay hundreds to thousands of dollars just to even get a TLC license. You have to pay hundreds of dollars to get a TLC plate. You have to pay hundreds of dollars to maintain a license. You have to pay a special type of insurance. You have to get insurance that have passenger endorsement. So you're paying shitloads of money and fucking fees, right? Like licensing fees. You got to pay registration. You got to pay.
Like, nigga, I don't want no pay. I got fucking money.
Mandated, specialized TLC inspections. You got to pay everything. And if you don't, and you don't have the proper insurance, Uber and Lyft will not allow you to operate on their app. So all this stuff costs hundreds of fucking dollars. And I want to make clear that I know the fights of a driver, that when you get a $20 trip, $30, $40 trip, these guys, you get paid $2, $3, $4, $5 a trip out of the 20. Despite the fact that you got to pay hundreds of dollars to maintain your side of the bargain. Now, I want to make clear that I am for the minimum wage, but I'm not against the unfair deactivations for app-based drivers, because but the thing is that, and I'm gonna tell the city council and when they get a hearing about this stuff, I say about that earlier, say, look, but the unfair deactivations, right, is that the issue I have here, and I'm always going to say right now, is that you have organizations that are divided, and instead of saying like you got to unite, I'm talking about IDG and TWA. You fuckers got to get together. Now, let's make that clear, because I'm sick of division. But I want to make clear that I totally support this fight they have. But I want to make clear that I know somebody was like, they could get rid of the apps. And I was like, look, I made this another video about the apps, right? I say, hey, like, the city could do a lot to really run these apps out of town and to run them out of business. But I want to make clear that the reason the city will never do this with the app-based drivers, they will never do it with the apps, like with Uber and DoorDash. And the reason they'll never do it, where you can do things to the apps to where they have to really comply with certain things or they get ran out of town, is because of the fact that if they do, they'll go to jail. They will go to jail if they ever try to go that route, because these apps have a lot of power. They own the district attorneys, they own the AG, They own a lot of people in Congress. They own the presidents of the United States. They own a lot of people, and they don't want the hammer of the biggest powers that be to come down on them. And now, like I said, there was a video of Raul Rivera, NYC Drivers Unite, talking to Fernando Mateo, and Fernando brought this up, and I think even JQ brought this up. We brought this up at the town hall with Sheikh Al Christian, where like a consultant, one of the consultants for the DOT was trying to bring this up, like, well, we could do it to where like we could really regulate the apps and fucking put these guys and regulate them and say, look, you guys be in jail if y'all try to do that to the apps. And I'm gonna make clear that I'm not here to defend the apps, and I'm not going to defend the apps, but I make this clear that going that route of, like I said, you want to really regulate them to where that you could shut them down because they don't want to pay people the wage deaths and abuses of the independent contractor. You know, no elected official, especially the ones that are dirty themselves, are going to risk their career to act on that instance. And let's make that clear here. But like I said, guys, in 2025, you know, like I said, if I had it my way, because I don't think I'm corrupt, I'm not dirty. You know what I mean? I know there's people who will be around me that might, because they got this shit going on. But if I had it my way, and if I was but I think I'm a lobbyist, but if I had it my way, that I would have gotten to, I would have myself, like, if I had it my way, that I would have formed a commission, like I said, to where I would have advocated for a commission within the city of New York, where you appoint somebody from the DOT, you appoint somebody from the Department of Consumer Worker Protection, you appoint someone from the TLC, you appoint someone from the New York City Labor Department, you appoint someone from the City Council, you appoint someone from a public advocate, you appoint someone from all 5 board presidents, you appoint someone for the all 5 board presidents, the controller's office. But I'll make clear that the people that I will automatically put on, if I had it my way, I'll say, look, the people that you had to automatically put on the board is Ligia Galapa and Bavari Desai. And then once you do that, and then you put it to where they are allowed to really oversee the apps, be an independent watchdog of all the apps like DoorDash, Uber, and Lyft, Grubhub, and Relay and Instacart, to where they're allowed to summons and fine and have hearings with these apps, and they get as much resources they can get to where they can find these apps, and to where if they want to keep on fucking up, the apps fuck up, that they get shut down. And now the thing is that I'm saying tomorrow I'm busy. I'm going to help people. There's an event I gotta help set up. Myself is that when I'm committed to somebody and do things, I gotta be committed. I'm not the type of person that likes to break my promises to people. I hate that shit. I hate myself when I do that. So I have to commit. So I'll post a goal, but God works in mysterious ways, and God works in great ways, and so I'll be out there tomorrow, but I'll show my support from afar. Just put this out there. As of, what time is it now? Let's see what time is it now. 7:58 p.m. on this beautiful Wednesday. Is that, you know, it just basically that you gotta, if you do this, maybe these apps will be more careful how they treat people. But like I said, I have no real big say on this. But like I said, if you had a real commission like somebody to really oversee these apps. So, but the thing, like I said, get by my train of thought is that with transportation alternatives, is that the problem with this nonprofit, many transportation alternatives, open plans, is that, and I'll say to Elizabeth out of faith because she's the main one that's the reason that we are in this mess in the first place, is that the problem here is that transportation alternatives, and people gotta start looking this shit up because they got put on blast before. Transportation alternatives and open plans. Open plans is the policy writing nonprofit. The policy writing nonprofit to for the transportation stuff in the city. They're the ones that write all the policy, and transportation alternatives are the ones that do the activism. Now, the truth of the matter fact is that transportation alternatives and open plans are both funded by the apps. DoorDash, Lyft, Uber, Grubhub, Relay, Instacart. And what happens is that nonprofits like transportation alternatives and open plans only pander to their donors. So of course there's going to be a big issue with this really going to where that you have real accountability for the apps when it comes to for hire drivers, and including deliveristas, and I'm going to talk about that in a few seconds, because they have a lot of say in the city council, especially in the transportation committee that they own. They own some beautiful powers. What happens is that transportation alternatives will be getting in the way and say like, well, you can't have this happen because of A, B, C, E, F, G. They'll get the talk point from the apps and they'll help put that shit in. Now, so you don't be surprised that this bill, Intros 267 by Shekhar Christian, has a big problem getting through the city council, where they have to really put this up again, because transportation alternatives and open plans that get funded by the apps are going to do whatever they got to do to make sure that this bill does not go through. They're going to find their way to make sure the bill don't go through. Why there's no real traction from TA and open plans about Intro 267? Yeah. Now, going to this part, and I want to go to this part because I've been following this for years. I'm not going to take anything back what I did, but I can apologize for what I did to certain, like Ligia, right? About the deliverista stuff, right? Let's talk about this right now. That the deliveristas have a bill in the city council right now, introduced by Justin Brandon. I was there to show my support because I give a fuck about the deliveristas. I care. And people can never say otherwise, because I got in the situation I'm in because I was helping the deliveristas get justice for deliveristas work. But I want to make clear that what happens is that Justin Brandon had a bill called Intro 1332, which will do the same thing for the deliveristas like they want to do for Intro 267. So basically, that's the bill in a nutshell. Basically, that's their bill for unfair deactivations for deliveristas, right? Now, like I said before, that open plans and transportation alternatives are both funded by the apps through donations, and they're going to find a way to make sure that this bill doesn't go through. Because once that happens, the apps are going to have a hard time getting rid of the people that they really want to get rid of, because you look into the bill that they are allowed to have arbitration and judges, and like the unions have, right? And they don't want that. So, like I said, my feeling is that, look, I support both of these bills. I can't be out there tomorrow because I got commitments. So I got to prepare for an event for Saturday. So I'll be committed all week. And my thing is that, look, transportation alternatives and open plans will find their way to not have these bills go through. You know, I'm gonna explain what happened at a rally, right? At the rally for the deliveristas, right? At a rally for the deliveristas, right? Let me explain what happened, right? So they had a rally for the Liberistas, for the Brandon bill, for intro 1332, right? Basically in a nutshell, 1332. I was there to cover it, I was there to show our support, cover and support, basically cover and support. Crazy shit, right? And everybody was there because the thing I could tell the people that I work with, like Raul Rivera and mainly other people, that look, the thing about it is because when they show up, people show up for them. It's about, I scratch your back, you scratch my back, right? There's no like you show up and then it's time to scratch that back. There's an excuse. So that time, all the nonprofits were there. Align New York, Nydalon, Align, Make the Road. Everybody showed up. Everybody showed up for that rally. So when I was there, there's a big difference of being in person or watching from a live stream, right? It's a big feeling difference of being in person versus being in a live stream, right? So they came, you know what came in the end of that rally that day was Elizabeth Adams, all right? She came, she didn't even smile. She looked like she didn't want to be there in the first place. And it's a big red flag because she knows that if this bill goes through and the apps had to spend money to defend themselves from the Liberistas, as much as they work with the Liberistas, Transportation Alternative, they work with LDU, they work with Liga Galapa and all those Gustavo, then she fears that Transzone won't get the donations that they get every year from the apps. So of course she's gonna have a feeling and have a look to where that she doesn't want to be there, right? She doesn't want to be there. And the thing is that, look, she don't want to be there. So, like I said, guys, look, if this bill, like I said, I'm gonna tell you right now, right? I won't be there, not my problem. If it happens tomorrow, not my problem. But I'll make clear that, and I always make clear that if these bills don't go through, big suspicion, big feeling that it was Transportation Alternatives open plans, including the apps that got into the ear of City Council, and they told them not to let it go through. So, like I said, tomorrow I won't be there. I got things to do. I hope you come out, show your support, and yeah, take care, guys, and peace out. Later.